right, let's dive right in. In this explainer, we're going to break down one of the most powerful tools any business has, its brand identity. We're going to unpack how trademarks work here in India to protect everything from a name to a unique sound, and you'll see why getting it right is so crucial. Let's get to it.
Have you ever really thought about that? What actually stops a competitor from just slapping the name Coca-Cola on their own drink? Well, the short answer is a super powerful legal tool, the trademark. Think of it like a force field for a brand's identity. It's the reason the Apple on your laptop only means Apple Inc., and that famous swoosh on your sneakers only means Nike. But as we're about to see, this whole thing goes way deeper than just a simple logo.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll start with the absolute basics. What exactly is a trademark? From there, we'll explore all the different kinds you can protect. Then we'll look at the government body that manages all of this, break down the step-by-step process for getting your own trademark, and finally, we'll see it all in action with a really fascinating legal battle between two huge brands. Okay, let's kick things off. Before we can even talk about protecting a brand, we need to get on the same page with a clear legal definition. So, what exactly is a trademark in the eyes of the law?
Well, the official definition is actually pretty broad. A trademark is basically any sign that can distinguish your stuff, your goods or services, from someone else's. This could be a word like Google, a simple logo like the Twitter bird, or, get this, even the unique shape of a product like a Toblerone bar. The absolute key idea here, the main function, is that it has to be a unique identifier that tells customers, hey, this comes from me, not from them.
So now that we know what a trademark is, let's look at the different types. Because it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. In India, there are several distinct categories, and each one is specifically designed to protect a different part of a brand's identity.
We're going to dive into 7 key types. We'll start with the most common ones you've probably heard of, the ones that separate physical goods from services. Then we'll look at marks that represent entire groups or act as a stamp of quality. And finally, we'll get into the really cool ones that go beyond just visuals, marks for shapes, patterns, and, yep, even sound.
Okay, let's start with the most common distinction. A product mark is for, well, products, physical goods. Think of the brand name on a car or on a box of cereal. A service mark, on the other hand, identifies a service, not a product. So you're thinking about the name of a bank, an airline, or a food delivery company. It really just boils down to what you're selling, a tangible item you can hold, or an intangible service you experience.
Now, trademarks can also do more than just represent a single company. Take a collective mark. This is used by all the members of a particular group or association. The Reliance symbol is a perfect example. It signals that a product is part of that huge corporate family. A certification mark is totally different. It's not about who owns it, it's about quality. When you see the ISI mark on an electronic device, that's not a brand. It's a guarantee from a certifying authority that the product meets specific safety and quality standards.
And this is where it gets really interesting, showing how modern trademarks go way beyond just names and logos. You can trademark a shape, like the iconic Coca-Cola bottle, making the very contour of that product a legally protected asset. You can trademark a distinctive pattern that identifies your brand. And yes, you can even trademark a sound. You know that short jingle you instantly recognize? That can be a sound mark, legally owned and fiercely protected.
So who's in charge of all this? Who keeps track of everything? Well, in India, all trademark operations fall under the official Trademark Registry.
Now, the registry isn't just one single building in Delhi. It's actually decentralized into 5 regional offices, which is pretty smart. Each office has jurisdiction over a specific group of states. For example, if your business is in Maharashtra, you'll file in Mumbai. If you're in Karnataka, you'll file in Chennai. This whole structure is designed to make the system way more accessible and efficient for businesses all across the country.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. How does an idea for a great brand name or a cool logo become a legally protected asset? Well, it's a very structured, multi-step journey.
The path to getting your trademark registered follows these 6 key stages. Step 1, the trademark search. And trust me, this is a super crucial first move to make sure your idea isn't already taken. Step 2, filing the application. This is where you formally submit everything to the registry. Step 3, examination. Here, the registry's examiners go over your application with a fine-tooth comb to make sure it follows all the rules. Step 4, publication. If it passes, your mark gets published in the official trademark journal, which gives the public a chance to object. Step 5, registration. If nobody successfully opposes it, you get that official registration certificate. And finally, Step 6, renewal. It's not over. You have to actively renew it to keep your protection going.
And that brings us to how long it lasts. A trademark registration in India is valid for 10 years, starting from the application date.
After those 10 years are up, you have to renew it. But here's the great thing. As long as you keep renewing it on time, a trademark can be protected forever, perpetually.
All right, theory is one thing, but now let's see how these rules play out in the real world, with a high-stakes legal showdown. This case involving the Maaza fruit drink is a perfect example of just how complex trademark rights can be, especially when you're talking about different countries. So here's the story. Originally, Bisleri sold the Indian rights for the drink Maaza to Coca-Cola. This deal included the trademark, the secret formula, and something called goodwill, which is basically the brand's reputation in India. Now, the key detail was that this sale was only for the Indian market. Fast forward a few years, Bisleri decides to register the Maaza mark in Turkey and starts exporting the drink from India. Coca-Cola said, "Whoa, not so fast," and sued them, arguing this broke their agreement. In the end, the court sided with Coca-Cola and blocked Bisleri from making the product in India to sell abroad. This quote right here gets to the absolute heart of the court's decision. The winning argument was this: because Coca-Cola owned the mark in India, any manufacturing of products with that mark inside India's borders was an infringement, and it didn't matter where those products were ultimately being sold. This set a huge precedent on the territorial power of trademark rights.
So let's boil all this down. What are the big takeaways? First, trademarks are way more than just logos. They can be shapes, sounds, and patterns. Second, getting one registered is a formal 6-step journey that's handled by 5 regional offices across India. And finally, as that Maaza case clearly showed, owning a trademark in a specific territory like India can give you the power to control not just sales, but also the manufacturing and export of those goods from that territory.
And that leaves us with a really critical question for any business today. The Maaza case proves that a trademark isn't some kind of global passport. So, in our super interconnected world, how do you build a brand that's actually protected everywhere you want it to be? Understanding where your rights begin and end is, without a doubt, more important than ever. Thanks for watching this breakdown of trademarks in India. If you found it helpful, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more explainers. And let us know in the comments if you have any questions.